I am with the incredible Kayseas Redsky. Kayseas is actually a really cool person, and she's a businesswoman, and she's trying to take over the world. And you should hear us, ladies and gentlemen, right before the air. She actually did sound like Dr. Claw there for like 5 seconds. It was fun.
It wasn't my fault.
No, but it was hilarious. It was microphone issues. That's kind of why we're doing a StreamYard versus a restream right now. I'll be back on my regular stuff, I think, tomorrow with my guest. So how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing great. Thank you so much. Thanks for introducing me. And it's been a long time since I've talked to you. So how are you?
I pissed people off. It was good today, but I needed to do it.
Those are the best days, right?
Well, we're coming to a very interesting point in history. I'm actually trying to sneak back up to Calgary. I don't know if I'm going to get there in time, but I'm going to try to sneak up there by October. Trying to. We'll see if it all works out or not. But people are. How do I put this? We are in a crazy time, and it's very interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see where we go from here. I don't want to be stuck in Ontario. I'd rather go with people I care about. And honestly, like if I'm going to be perfectly honest, I miss you. I miss you a lot.
I miss you too.
Yeah. But so you've been on an interesting journey because you've gone and I met you, and from where you've come a long way. We don't even get into all that stuff, but what I'm thinking is like you are now like a businesswoman, and you've kind of been making that transition from where you are to where you are now. And so what I'd love to hear, and I think what the audience would love to hear, is how'd you get there?
How did I get here?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious. That's a loaded question.
Mm-hmm.
We might have to break some of that down. I guess part of it is, we go way back, so it would take us to, oh my goodness, like what, 2015?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 2015 is where we were at. Absolutely, like it was.
Mm-hmm.
I met you in 20. No, I might met you in 2014. I only met you like once. It was at a cafe. You were showing me your writing, like way back in the day.
Oh yeah, a long time ago.
Very long time ago.
So I guess going from there to here, life has really just been one of those let's take it as it comes thing. I've had a lot of people in my life who've really taken over being like a special human and being part of that like inner circle of my life. You've been one of them, and I feel like there's been enough support throughout like my mental health journey, through what's going on with the world, and like friends who have been there. What's really gotten me here though is I think just really believing in myself, and I feel like maybe getting me here would be a whole lot of hope and faith.
Oh, I can relate. I'm taking that leap of hope and faith myself right now.
Yeah. So there's been some ups and downs, and some downs have been more, I don't know, let's just call them like cute little valleys in the foothills, I guess. Um, and I think from building on the building blocks of each and every failure that I've had, and just using them as stepping stones to move forward, and not letting everything get to me the way that it used to, and just really believing myself instead of everybody else's words. That definitely took me a lot longer to learn than most people in life. But I feel like even though it took me that long, I am who I am today.
Mm-hmm.
And my journey was, oh my goodness, how do you even describe that? Like, another word for tumultuous, but almost in like a fun way. Like, I don't know. I've only been on the zipper once at the Stampede, and I've only ever been on it once. But that's kind of what life feels like sometimes when you're on a zipper ride and everything's good, nothing's really going to happen, but then all of a sudden you just start flipping. Um, and then you're just going for a ride. Nothing's happening because the inertia has you to the point where you're just like, oh, okay, I'm just in this for a ride. And then you swing and you're like, oh, wow, okay, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. And that's a wonderful carnival life, I guess.
I would describe it as magic. It's an
Magic.
amazing thing. We live in a life of we do things and things happen. Then there's no like logical explanation for them. I've gone on this podcast is an accident, like a big giant accident. I got to interview Robert J. Sawyer for my blog, and then ended up he just happened to say the word podcast at the right place at the right time, and this is my 627th episode there, and it's kind of one of
Woo!
those where it's like I never planned any of it. I've written 5 books and since we've talked, and it's like, oh, so like it's a process and it's a magical process. It's filled with ups, it's filled with downs. There's lots of moments in the journey where you're in the dark. You don't know where you're going. You don't know, am I doing the right thing or am I crazy? And I don't think you ever outgrow that. I think every time you do something in this life, that's literally what it is. Like, am I crazy or am I doing the right thing? And we all ask those questions every day. Sometimes we have to speak our truths and like I just told you, I just pissed off a whole bunch of people. I'm just gonna be very curious to see how that all magically works out. But I needed to do it because in my heart it feels right. I just see what's coming and I'm like, this is gonna get very bad before it gets very good again. And but I gotta do what I can to say, you know what, maybe we should think and go another way. And based on just some things I've seen and done. And yeah, it's nerve-wracking. And
Mhm.
by the same time, it's the right thing for me to do because I needed to say it. Whether I'm right or I'm wrong, I might be wrong. I mean, here's the other thing too. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to make
Absolutely.
mistakes. Right? I make tons all the time.
You don't learn if you don't make mistakes. If you're
Absolutely.
not making mistakes, what are you doing?
Screwing up. The only true way to screw up in this life.
Maybe.
The only true way to screw up in this life is not to make mistakes. I think regret, like honestly, I had maybe a handful of regrets. They still hurt me, even to this day. Like I think of what I didn't do over what I did. And the right thing to do is like again, at the end, do what you think is the right thing. It doesn't matter if you agree, if the rest of the world agrees with you. Do what you think is right.
Mhm.
And be okay with learning from it. And if you can do that, you will. I'll have 1,000 mistakes. I'm going to go to the Almighty when this is all said. So it's like, God's going to say, Josh, you done fucked up. It's like, yep, but I got no regrets. So it was fun. That's totally what I'm doing. Like that's my whole philosophy. So
Well, that's good. I feel
yeah.
like once you get there, you have to really like master that whole being there. Do you know what I mean? Like when I say master being there, I just mean when you are in that zone and you are so sure of yourself and then that little bit of doubt creeps in and because you're so sure of yourself, that's when you just have to like just solidify in yourself basically. At least I don't know, going over the last year developing and going through all the stuff and all my schooling and everything that I've been through, it's really taught me that once you make that decision and you really put it out there, like the universe just answers.
Mhm.
And I mean, if maybe you're gonna like tick a lot of people off, but there's a couple people, I'm not gonna name drop any names because they're not on this and we don't need to, but um they definitely don't do the best job of leading a country, in my honest opinion. But we definitely have some mistakes to correct in that sense. And maybe it will get worse before it does get better. But at the same time, um, we know what we know, and we hope, like, we stand firm in our own truths, and we stand absolutely, like, firm in ourselves because that's our truth. And
Mhm.
just like the same thing with that post that you like pissed so many people off about. No. I'm like, if there's going to be people who are upset at that, that's just them having a closed mind because they're not open to having or receiving someone else's perspectives, let alone judgment, let alone life, let alone something that doesn't have to do with being told what to do,
Mhm.
in my opinion. But when it comes to people and mistakes, yes, absolutely. Make them. If you have to make them in order to learn, cool. That says 3 eggs. You put 6. Oopsies. Now we have a super fluffy cake. Okay, mistake number 1. Okay, but if you're going to be making mistakes like where you're out and you're going and destroying people's lives, those are not mistakes.
No, those aren't
That's
mistakes at all. No,
that's not
that's
even.
a very different thing. No, well, they are mistakes, but they're bit. It's too small a word. Um,
Yeah,
it's too
that
small a
doesn't
word.
do it justice.
Again, like looking around, kind of seeing what I'm seeing, doing what I'm doing. I recognize the fact that like this is a time I think with everybody, like everybody's going to kind of pick whatever path they're going to walk, and we're going to cut away certain things, and we need to, because for no matter whatever people believe, you gotta stick to the truths, and you got to do what's right for you. And at the end of the day, that's going to mean a lot of different things for a lot of different people. And you got to accept that. Like that's totally a reasonable point of view. You can't the world's bigger than you. That's the other thing too. Like it just took like again, big ego. I know I got giant ass ego sometimes. But I mean, one of the biggest things I had to learn, and I've done this doing the show is I the world's bigger than me. And that's a great thing. There's tons to learn and see and do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Just in
And I don't
how I
have to be
feel.
and I don't have to be right. And that's a
Yeah.
good thing, right? And I'm probably not on a lot of things. I just got to do
Okay.
the best I can with what I do know how, and I trust that it'll work out one way or the other.
Yeah. Yep. It always does. And if
Mhm.
it doesn't, it will eventually. And if it doesn't, something else will, right?
The arc of justice is long. I had a friend of mine say that the arc of justice is long, but yeah, the universe has a tendency to go towards a certain direction, and um, I think watching what I'm watching, seeing what I'm seeing, it's just like we are going to relearn a lesson. I think we need to relearn, but at the same time, it's just like you realize in times like this that the most valuable things in the world are doing what you love and being with people you love.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
been asked to me, like, what do you love lately? And I'm like, that's a good question. That's a really good question.
Hmm.
I
Not
feel
much
like I
else in
love
this life.
myself.
Not much else in this life matters, like at
No.
all.
But at the same time, if you don't know what you do love, like if you don't know what you love to do, then by all means, like that's where soul searching comes in.
I don't know is the most wonderful answer in the world. Like
Um,
no, I love that answer. It's honest because it's you at your most honest. Like I don't know. It's like I don't know if this is correct. I don't know if this is correct. I don't know if this is up or down or left or right. I don't know, and that's okay. I'm not going to get this one right. I'm okay with that too. I don't need to get this right.
nope.
Right? I just need to pick a direction and walk it. And somewhere along the way you'll find, like, pick an interest, like yodeling. I'm not saying yodeling might be your thing, it might not even be my thing. But you pick something like that. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. Maybe you like video games. Maybe
I don't know. Yodel, I don't think I could yodel.
no, it's okay. It might not be your thing, and that's okay. But the idea is you do all these different interests. Somewhere along the way, you're going to fall in love with something you're doing. And that's a great and wonderful thing, because once you get to that point, you know, um, it's scary, right? Because now it's like, I find this thing I really, really, really love. And there's all like, and being in love is like a terrifying thing. Like the first time I fell in love, it was like, oh my God, I didn't realize I felt this way, this strongly about someone or something. And it was like, holy shit, what do I do? Because you're such a kid when you fall in love the first time. It's like the greatest and most wonderful thing in the world, because now your whole world is this love. And then eventually your world does get bigger again. But when it does, your whole perspective on what matters changes. And then after that love, let's say that love doesn't work out. Well, that's okay. It doesn't have to. Then you can still fall in love again, but it'll be different. You'll still have that big, giant, holy shit, this is awesome. This is awesome. I'm crazy. You're crazy. The world is crazy. Right? Um, no, what is a thing is that now it's bigger. It's not just about how do I put this, that thing you love. Now you're like, okay, now how do I balance that with these other things or these people or this life? Like, it's about balance. It's about looking and seeing and wonder and going with you know those things that matter, like, because that's it. Like, everything else comes and goes.
Hmm.
Hmm.
As long as you remain consistent.
Oh,
But at the same time, no one is 100% consistent because we're always evolving, ever changing. I'm not the same person I was last year. Why? Because I was consistent in my growth.
hmm, same here. I'm not the
Because I
same
was
person.
so freaking in love with what I was doing.
Yeah,
And that was learning what I was learning. And like,
yeah. Understanding that the world is a bigger place, and you're
well,
part
I
of it.
often always say to people who I can't get through to, I'm a really tough lover. If you're gonna come at me with the same problem probably 5 times, I'm gonna get a little bit mad and I'm gonna remind you in a very, very Casey's way just how infinitesimal of a speck you are within this universe and nothing matters. Nothing. Nothing matters. Nothing matters.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you know how I know? Like I love this woman, and she loves me. This is how I know. She will yell at me. She will yell at me, and I will let her yell at me. This is the thing. Like, this isn't like one of those where it's like I'm too. No, I let her do it because, again, it's her place in the universe. She can actually see. You know how you can tell you love someone. It's not that I think all lovey-dovey thoughts. Don't get me wrong. You can still feel lovey-dovey thoughts about someone, but it's when you can look at someone and go, I can yell at you, I can fart on you, I can tickle you, I can pinch you, I can like hug you, and I can hold you, and I can just, it doesn't really matter. Like, I can be totally myself with you. And it doesn't matter what I say or do, right? You have that, deep down inside that you got that same freedom with me. And then it's like, I can yell at him. I can mostly punch him. No, maybe not. Maybe not. I'm brittle. You know that I'm brittle. Um,
You
but
are. It's okay. It's okay.
I can't even say I'm the pretty one with you. Can't even do that. Dang it.
One of us needs to be the smart one.
I don't I don't know about that either. I think
Am I
I,
pretty and smart at the same time? I don't
what
think so.
what
That's a lie.
you're smart. You know why you're smart? But for one simple reason. Or at the very least, you're wise. At the very least, you're wise.
I
And
would
that and
say
that's
wise. Like you're saying smart, and I'm like, no, not smart.
no,
Wise.
no,
Not smart.
I actually, you know what? I do. It's not. Smarts come in many different forms. There's the physics. I can literally do math as language. I'm not that smart, right? I can create things from nothing. I can do that, right? I think you can do that too. And that takes a certain degree of smarts. Um, I can see how things connect in interesting ways. And that's smart. And then there's smart like this. I can learn from my mistakes. For the most part, I do. For the most part, right? Some mistakes, I think I'm always going to be an idiot this way, but that's okay. Like, and no one's perfect, right? The wisdom, the wisdom isn't wisdom is smart. It's the smart of learning from your mistakes and growing as a person. You don't need to know, like, honestly, for the most part, this is going to sound really dumb for someone listening. The knowledge you know doesn't really matter that much. And it's cool that you can use it to make connections and make yourself better, but that really doesn't matter. What really matters is it's what you do with it. Are you using those connections to make things around you better or worse?
Mhm.
Because if you can do that, right, that I don't know,
Yeah,
right?
mold.
I might not ask you to solve me a quadratic equation, but then I like I'm not gonna use it. So why would I ask that of you? But I can ask you your opinion on something, and you'll give it to me. Whether
Hmm.
you know, or if you don't know, you're smart enough to say I don't know. That's I don't know. That's pretty smart. There's a lot of people. It's like I don't know, and they'll give me an answer, and I'll be like, you really don't know what you're talking about. I can tell.
I can tell. Do you want a cookie?
Yeah, that's right. Now I do want a cookie, dang it. All right, that's okay. That's okay.
We'll get one later. I feel like there's, excuse me. I feel like there's like just because so many people have so many learning lessons and different things in life, and everyone has such a different walk of life, and we all learn things differently. I feel like going back to the beginning, when we don't listen and listen and listen and listen and listen, we're not collecting information. If we're not learning and reading and comprehending and not just going, oh, this was a good idea because XYZ, and we can actually sit there and go, oh, maybe this was a bad idea because A to Z plus every single letter in every single alphabet of every single language that we've ever created. There's the people who really have to work hard to take in other people's perspectives. But when we're not working hard to learn from our mistakes of the past, that's when those issues like just fall forward. And when you're not learning from your mistakes, and if you're not learning from your mistakes, I feel like, or not even realizing their mistakes, I still feel like you're learning
Mm-hmm.
what you think
Absolutely.
is right. And then you find out, like, I don't know, maybe like 6 or 7 years later, oh, hey, I don't have color blindness. That's just actually gray and white. Like for someone to actually be told one thing and then to be shown another, which creates the biggest cognitive dissonance in the entire world. Like, don't do that to people. But at the same time, changing people's minds for the better and understanding and broadening your perspective without shoving opinions and like political views and beliefs and everything like down people's throats the way that society sometimes does, um, then there's just to learn from it is to grow from it. And if we're going to grow as humans and be like more of a human, what am I? A human? Yep. Am I a sapio? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Am I a sapio human? Yep. Am I a neurosapien? Yes. I can think for myself. I can do things for myself. Sometimes I do need help. I'm small. I can't reach that. Please grab that. Thank you. I'm built the way I'm built. But I feel like you have to construct your reality. Otherwise, you're going to fall prey to other people's and you're not going to find your own reality. And by constructing your own reality, I just mean take in more perspective of others and try to perceive more from like the outside world. I don't think in this day and age, there's a lot of people who just sit on a park bench and just enjoy the world. Everyone's so very involved with their phones. And if we're sitting on park benches, or if we're out in a meadow, or if we're out in nature and we're doing all this stuff and we're connecting while disconnected, it's going to bring everybody together.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like even though we're all connected through technology and whatnot, it's a double-edged sword.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you love it, you hate it. I can't be without it. Sometimes I want to escape. I don't know what to do sometimes. It feels like a trap. What do? I turn off my phone. That's the only way to escape it.
You need to reconnect.
Exactly. So taking time away from, the craziness and the stress and everything that's going on within this world, because there's a lot, like reminding yourself that you matter, other people matter, but you also matter, and they also matter. No more, and no less than you do. It just becomes this web. And if you think of a web like as a net, people are tightrope walking, they fall down, they get caught. The net does this. It's pretty flexible, just like people's opinions, right? Everyone had like, these are these people who think this, these are these people who think this. We all come into the middle. Hey, guess what? I also have another theory. Like, you have this and this. And it's so, okay, can I explain this?
Sure.
My hook theory? Okay. You have to do this with me. It's an interactive activity. Everyone at home do this too. Okay. Take your finger, make it a hook. This is you. Okay. Now, say you're with someone and you're not doing it.
Oh, you want me to do it? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
So you take your finger, and then, so this is you, and this is someone else, okay? Now you have some very good ideas, and so does this person, okay? So you guys come together, you guys put your heads together, and you are a link, okay? Now this is very strong.
Mm-hmm.
Now, inside, in the middle here, this is the communication, okay?
Okay.
I want you to pull as hard as you can. As hard as you can. Pull. It's going to work. Pull.
Okay.
Pull. There you go. It breaks down eventually, right?
Yeah.
Now, there's another side to communication, and that's comprehension. And not only comprehension, but empathy, like respect, all this other stuff. And that all falls in here. So now you have you, but you also have this other person, and you're linked. But if the two of you have respect, boundaries, and whatnot, you can conjoin. Okay. Now I really want you to pull that.
So okay. So this. So like
yeah.
this.
So you have your
chain, like a chain.
Like a chain. And now, do you see?
Yes.
Nothing. You can't go anywhere. It's strong. So
very
to
strong.
think of people as these little things like this. Yes, okay, cool beans, we're all little humans. As long as we have like respect, empathy, compassion, forgiveness, all these things that make up the good parts of us and carry through with it, through this simple conversation, we can come full circle, and there will not be a communication breakdown unless there becomes one, which is a weak link. Are you understanding my theory here?
I get it. So when there is a miscommunication, I broke down miscommunication to 3 things. Okay. There's intentions, there's impact, and then there's interpretation.
Oh, yeah. Interpretation is huge.
Absolutely. Intentions cannot be questioned. No, you can't prove it, right? If I said something really, really bad to you, and I said I was coming from a good place, now you might have doubts, but you can't really prove it, right? Now, but at the same token, the impact of what I said. Let's just say I called you a big giant poopy head. Just because we're just gonna use poopy head as an example here. Right? Now.
Rude.
Yes, very rude. See, that's the impact. Like, boom, you're a poopy head. Now, if I said I did that because I was just teasing you. Now, you might be like, okay, yeah, you're just being silly because I'm calling you a poopy head. I mean, who's going to take that seriously? At the same time, if someone really does get hurt that way, I said, like, there is this friend of mine. She took these pictures, like she's a model, she's super hot and all that stuff, and she's always showing off, right? A little bit. And then I don't mean that in like a bad way. I meant that in like she is advertising. So I said a little comment about showing off, and she was really hurt by it. Wasn't my intention at all, but the impact is undeniable as well. So the true difference is interpretation, right? Interpretation is the link in the chain. Now, again, poopy head. You're like, rude. How dare you? How dare you? And you'll call me something silly too. I don't know. Spaghetti Eddie. I don't know. Whatever you want to call me, right? But here's the thing, right? Right? There is an interpretation. There's an interpretation of what is being said at all times. And our interpretations are shaped by our experiences. So what needs to be understood when the communication breaks down is interpretation is a big part of communication. I might say something controversial. It's like, I am a skeptic when it comes to so-and-so, right? That, you know what? And someone might, well, how dare you? Are you left or right? No, there's I don't trust any of them. I'm a political atheist. But here's the deal, right? I can say that, but that hits people a certain way. If I say today that I'm very skeptical about how some things are working out with our various medicines right now on the planet, someone would be like, "You're an ant." No, I'm not. I'm skeptical, and just by my very nature, I am a skeptic. It doesn't necessarily mean that they don't work. They might just do exactly what they say they do, but I'm a skeptic. There is nuance in everything that is said. The real question is, based on your experience, are you capable of seeing that interpretation in a different light, right? Because if you can, yes.
Question.
Yes.
Can you still question a person's intent with oh my goodness, with what you've experienced in your life? Because actions do stay. Like, I mean, there's always going to be trauma somewhere. But if you have an action and then there's, say, this person is like, a poopy head because they did X, Y, Z. And then this person is a poopy head because they did A, Y, Z or something. And A really took you off.
I love that in this conversation we've used poopy head like 10 times already. This is fantastic. I love that. This is, I'm a professional talker. I get people to talk. So here's the thing, okay? Right? I can look at your overall pattern of behavior, and I can make guesses based on our experiences. And I think that's a fair assessment.
So interpreting people's intentions are based on your experiences in life, right?
Oh, absolutely. But I think this is the thing, right? Is it fair for me to compare you to any other girlfriend I've had?
Probably not.
Probably not. When the reason being is you're a completely different person. Now, here's the thing.
The exact same thing to you.
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly, right? Exactly. And here's why. But here's why. And here's how this works, right? Here's how this works. I can look at you, and I can look at your history, specifically my experiences with you, and make conclusions based on those experiences with you about your intentions. What I cannot do is I can't really necessarily compare you to anyone else. Understandably, I can, like, for me, the word that triggers me is reputation. If someone goes to me, I got to protect my reputation. My natural inclination is to take a step back. Because when I hear that usually is that to me, in my history, in my experience, usually means bad things. However, I have to be a grown-ass enough man to say that just because that's been my experience, there are situations out there that do require people to protect their information and their reputation. And this might be one of those experiences. It might be a legitimate thing. Like, again, if I'm calling the whole world a poopy head, I'm not sure a sponsor's going to want to get a hold of me. I mean, maybe Probably not, right? Right.
No.
But then and you can't blame that sponsor. It's like, I don't want you to call my prospective customers poopy heads. I can't believe I'm saying it so many goddamn times in this
I
episode.
know, right?
I'm sure whoever's listening to this is laughing their ass off. I mean, just because it's like, what the hell is that? I don't know. I
What
really
is
don't know.
going on?
Yeah. But the thing about that is, right? The thing about that is, um, we live in a culture. We live in a culture, a place, a time that we tend not to look at those things honestly. If we did look at these things honestly, more often than not, it's not always the case. More often than not, we're more alike than we're different. Right? We have more in common with the people around us than what we have different. And again, some of those differences are awesome because I do not want to talk to myself in the mirror. I'm not that good of a conversationalist. I'm just not. I'd rather talk
Says
to
the one with
someone real.
627 podcasts.
Yeah, exactly. Just like that would be the most awkward thing, right? Oh, it should be 627, not 427, but that's okay. I'll fix that in post. This is episode 627, ladies and gentlemen. I've done a lot of these things. But the whole point I'm getting at is we live in a culture. We live in a culture where we don't look at nuance as much as we should. We don't look at I can be for something and against something else. I can be this, right? We all fit in this spectrum in different ways. I can be concerned about the fact that we're playing with government powers and rights right now and still be okay with a medicine. Right. That's a nuance. That's levels. Like I'm cool with this, but I'm against this, and so on and so forth. And that's the world we are evolving into. And the way out and the way we learn from each other is we talk to each other. Now, going back to what you're saying about intentions, right? Me and I've never intentionally been a dick to you. That doesn't mean I haven't screwed up, because I have, right? But I've never intentionally gone out of my way to do
No,
that to you, right?
no.
And vice versa. Sometimes you'll listen to me and you'll say I'll see it sometimes. You'll be like, you made me mad. Why did I make you mad? And then you're like, he really has no idea what he did. What's wrong with this guy? Right? And you're like, I don't get it. Right. And I know you've seen it once. It's like there's literally a deer in the headlights. Like, what did I say? Right. What did I do? And it right. That's the thing, right? Our interpretation sometimes is very different. That doesn't change the fact that whatever I said to you or whatever you've said to me hit me a certain way. Of course it did. Right. But the intentions, I can't just jump to conclusions about intentions, nor can I jump to conclusions about interpretation, because I know this is a very big thing for me to admit on my show. I could be wrong, Kayseas. I could be wrong. I've
It's
entertained you.
549 and my battery percent is 49%. So that's okay to admit.
Yeah. You're like, my God. Like,
Well, I have a question.
Sure.
Because, yeah, I have another question. I have a question. My feelings are similar in regards to up here and up here in the nuances. I feel like a lot of us are being gaslit.
Yes.
I feel like that really, really messes with people. And so I feel like at some point everyone has just quit and been like,
Well,
whatever.
so
At least some people. Because I feel like if you're being gaslit, but you know that things are not the way that they should be or are not going the way they need to be, and you're able to, I don't know, recognize it, it's hard to fight it once you recognize that it's happening, especially when it comes from like such a high power to which we cannot control. the degree and the level of which we're all being, like, I don't know, gaslit by other people, not including higher ups, but like other people on a day-to-day basis. I feel like someone can say to me the same thing that maybe you do. And yes, I interpret your intentions differently than this person's intentions. But if for someone who's been, I don't know, say like my best friend who's been gaslit her entire life, say she wants to start trusting people, everything that comes out of that person's mouth is a lie. Everything that comes out of that person's mouth, they want to believe. This is the belief. This is the lie. This is what they have no idea. And the only thing that happens is they know that they are them and to just keep going forward.
Yeah.
And forget about over here and forget about over here.
Losing trust is one of the... Okay, this is a big topic, big one. So let's talk about this. Big scheme of pictures. I just posted something about a nurse quitting on my Facebook post, ladies and gentlemen. And she talks about all the side effects she's dealt with the vaccines and said, oh, had enough. That's what I did. Right this minute, the very first response was a good riddance response because of, her thing. And these vaccines are fine. It's like, well, have you been watching what's been going on here, and here? And that led to a whole level of discussion that's pissed a lot of people off. And here's the thing. Me pointing out different things like this is going to piss people off. Because again, in a world like this, when things happen, one of the easiest things to do in the world is cast people as bad guys. It's easier to villainize a group of people than it is to admit how scary the world really is. This is a life at the very best of times is fragile. And you have to recognize the fact that me saying that, speaking this and doing this, right? You might disagree with what I'm saying. That's totally cool. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm that bad guy or that person. I am just someone with a different perspective. But in a world where you're not in control, in a world where you don't know how it's going to end, you don't know like how scary it is. The truth is about the world is life's unfair. Bad things happen to great people all the time.
All the time.
And there's no rhyme or reason to it sometimes. There's no real good reason other than the universe is unfair. Last year, the universe was very unfair to all of us. Didn't matter who you are. Didn't matter what you believed. It was unfair. So in a world where you have no control, the easiest thing to do is look at somebody and say, you're a poopy head, but like as a bit, but much more serious. You're a bad person. How dare you believe this? How dare you do this? But all of which to say that that's an easy way to live. It's a simpler world. It's not the truth. The truth is we're all trying to figure out and do the best we can for the most part. That's all of us. I just, you know what? I want to do what I love. I want to be with people I love. It's that simple for me. It's all I want. It's all most of us want when you get right down to it. And saying that there's one correct way of doing things, that this is the only path, this is the only, no, life doesn't work that way. Never has. But in a situation where people think they have an answer or think they have a way to go, well, they go and try different things, and it's easy to go against. And here's the thing: people in power have a tendency to want to push those divides even further, because if you and we might disagree on the color, on what our favorite ice cream flavor is, right? We might. We might.
I don't think we do, though.
No, we probably don't. But that'll say everybody likes ice cream. Right? Everybody likes ice cream.
What if they don't like ice cream?
I have never met that person.
Because they're not at the ice cream store. You are.
Yeah. Yes. I know lactose intolerant people that eat ice cream. Like I'm not kidding. They will go through that pain just because. Again, finding people who hate ice cream, people that can't have it, yes, but even they ignore it. It's like, fuck that. I'm having my rocky road, right? That I have seen it.
Okay, so we're
fine.
gonna put a poll on your Instagram being like, do you like ice cream?
Yeah.
And you have to interview the people who don't.
I did the Facebook thing, favorite ice cream. What's the best ice cream flavor? Chocolate or vanilla? That was the most epic thing I put on there. Got like lots of responses. Here's the thing though,
I
right?
wouldn't have answered. It's not up there. Sorry.
No, I got you. But it's like you had to choose. Most people can't argue with chocolate or vanilla. It's not necessarily the best flavor in the universe, but you know what?
Chocolate.
There you go. But all of which is say, see, everybody likes ice cream, and we can find something in common. If me and you are talking, we'll find those commonalities, and we'll compromise on the things we don't, and we get along a lot better that way than if, and we don't have to. Again, big picture, we don't have to agree on certain things, and we shouldn't.
No, we don't. It's okay to not agree with everybody. To like sidestep from that. I have someone who in my life who has very strong beliefs, and they are very opposite of mine. And we're able to sit down and have a conversation for a long time and just go over like why this was this way. And I can like come in with like my little rebuttals, and we can do this. Neither one of us are getting heated. Neither one of us are swearing. No one's crying. Like, we have differences. We can set them aside because we're humans. And not only that, but we were friends and humans, like friends as humans, before, all of this like divide and conquer stuff came about. So it's like, okay, so you have these views, I have my views, you have your opinions, these are my opinions. Mm-hmm. Well, I like you as a person. You see why this is that way. I like you as a person. I see why this is that way. You like me. You see my perspective. Everyone's just kind of working together. We all bleed the same freaking color.
Yeah.
We all breathe the same freaking air, and we're all living on the same freaking planet.
Yeah. But I also at the end of the day, like I think my favorite conversation, like my 600th episode, I don't understand the trans movement at all. Like I just don't. It's not like something that's ever really hit my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I interviewed someone that identifies themselves differently, and they never got religion. So we just had a good back and forth. I talked about, they asked why I believed in God, and I asked why, like, what does that feel like? Because I have zero context. Like it's not my thing. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
But that's just it. Like, we can look at the world and see it differently and not hate each other for it.
What if we were
better? The world is better when we see things differently. Like I said, I don't see everything. And frankly, the idea that having this one narrow, it doesn't work in anything. There's no such thing as a universal panacea in medicine. There's no such thing as a universal party. There's no such thing as we don't have our religion. Everything we do in this world is divided. Like, there's these different answers to so many different things, and that's how the world works. It's how we change.
We have to change, though. But we have to change for the better by learning from the past.
I hope so.
Which is just absurd if you think about it. I mean, okay, so what? I was born like late 80s. There are people, I saw this post, that they're parents now. Like, these are parents who have babies, but these parents weren't even alive when Shrek came out, which makes me feel old. But at the same time, I remember when Shrek came out, and I don't feel any older. I remember being in certain places and feeling like I have been there before, and it's only been my first time. I feel like I've been in places like 1,001 times before, and I've only been there once. There's like all these different things. Also, speaking of the bugs, we are humans. We speak. We do things on a human level. If we were all insects and living in a forest and living as like an ecosystem, without our egos, it'd be so very peaceful. Nature is peaceful.
For the most part. For the most part. It has its...
there's animal, there's a hierarchy, whatever, things happen, and everything has its place in the world.
Oh, totally.
What are we doing to the world? There's several of us who are for it. There's several of us who are against it. And there's a whole lot of people who just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to go out and you're going to do things that make you happy, be a good person, don't hurt anybody. It's like, iRobot laws, like don't hurt anybody, don't let anybody hurt anybody, and don't hurt anybody hurting anybody. Like, to me, it's such little common sense. It's baffling. Could we just, this is me, you are you, I see you, you see me, this is my space, this is your space. Okay, we're gonna live collaboratively, and I like this group of people, and this group likes this group of people, and now we're all these little bubbles of people.
Oh.
And what we're doing is making a group of super special people who just want the world to be a nice place.
So
even with or without religion, if you believe what you want to believe, feel what you feel, dream what you dream.
I love one of my favorite things I read from a comic book. I still read comics. I know what you like being 12 years old. I remember Shrek. I remember DuckTales. I remember Gummy Bears. I'm old. Yes. DuckTales is amazing. DuckTales is amazing shit. But I say it like this because I'll put it to you like this. If how do I I lost my thought there for a second. Okay, so this comic book I read, it's the Justice League fighting like these fallen angels. And one of the angels actually, one of the angels on their side basically said it best. Seriously, if you break it all down, let's all just make knights and have lots of babies. That sounds incredibly simple, but really when you get right down to it, that's like, we're here once. I would rather love people than fight them, right? I would rather, and if we disagree, cool. Listen, I'll have a beer with you. I'm good with it, right? But here's the deal, right? You go out there, you see the world. You got to give the world the freedom to be themselves, and not necessarily. There isn't no need really. There are very few things that actually require higher powers involvement. And it's going to be interesting to watch in the next few years. We seem to kind of dance on that line of how much power is needed in our lives, but the answer honestly is, for the most part, none. Basically, the best way to overcome fear, from what I've seen in this life, is freedom. That's the only time you're not afraid, is when you feel absolutely free.
Freedom.
It sounds incredibly lame, but the way I see it is, for the most part, when power is seized, everyone's afraid. When there's no power involved, everyone's free. And that way is always a lot better than the other. The idea, like, basically, I mean, if you want to make this as simple as possible, I have a right to be an asshole, and you have a right to call me on it. That's it.
I mean, I might just call you a poopy head just because I want to, but
I'm never living that down, am I?
No. No, you're not. You're not allowed. That was hilarious.
I can see it now. I see it next time I see you in person and be like, "Hey, poopy heads!" Like, I'm never living this down.
I'm gonna get you a toque.
Okay.
With a poop on it. It'll be your pook. You're welcome.
I miss you. I miss you very much, actually.
It's been
Well, I'm trying to head on back out there. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I had an epiphany moment here, and it was like, I just don't want to be here anymore. I
no.
came I came back here. I came back here and it was great. Like, you want to talk about what else is going on? It was great. And I got to see my family. I got to see how much of a different man I am from my dad, which is, I think I actually personally needed to see that. It was good for me. Um, I have no problem calling. See, this is the nature of love, folks. I have no problem calling my dad an asshole, and he's so and he has no problem. He'll tell me what I think too. Like, that's a good relationship, and that's a relationship I'll always have with him. And I wouldn't have seen it for what it was until I came down here and saw it, and I'm glad I did for that reason. So
That's good. I'm glad.
yeah,
I'm glad you
yeah.
got it. I like that Ontario is like so big and absolutely beautiful. You guys have really different rules there. I'm sorry. But if it's any consolation, come back to the forgotten province of Alberta. Oh, they forget we exist out here.
That's part of the reason. Actually, it's part of the appeal. To be perfectly honest with you, I'm not gonna like. Basically, I need just a good reason. Like, everything I'm doing right now is good, but I need a steady reason to go back out there. And once I have it, I think I'm just gonna go, even if I
Yeah.
have to walk. If I have to walk, I don't care. Right? So,
You just
right.
Terry Fox it. Just Terry
What?
Fox it.
Yeah. No, it's just I'm not like honestly, I've been packing light the whole time, and I think I did. And honestly, like if I'm being very honest with myself, the people that like I have to acknowledge this. If I must be somewhere or anywhere during this crazy time, like, that's my home, right? As much as I have to admit, like, going to BC was good. I needed to go because I had done everything I could do in Calgary up until that point. Coming to here is great. It's taught me how to make money out of magical thin air and do it in a way that's really fun.
Teach me
But
away.
I need more of it, because if it's then it's great. Then in which case I'll just get a house in Hawaii. You want to come live with me in Hawaii?
I mean, sure.
Yeah.
There's several islands. They're all volcanoes. I can't escape. I don't really like the ocean, but it's Hawaii. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
That was the thought breakdown. I'm like, ring of fire, lots of lava. What if I die? I think of these things, okay? My
It's
brain.
okay. It's okay. No, it's absolutely okay.
I wanted to tell you, I have an idea.
Uh-oh.
It came to me
Oh.
quickly. And so the universe was basically saying, you have a lot of pent up stuff, be creative, do something with it. And I was sitting there and I had no idea what to do. And I've decided that I'm going to I said when I say I've decided I'm going to, I've already started on this. And it's happening. So I hope you like it. But maybe if you want, your opinion and your feedback would be appreciated. I read Alice, so you can read this if you want.
Sure. Absolutely. I got
It
more
might be
Allison.
fun for you. It might be fun for you.
It would be. I would love that. Yeah, I would.
I just need to figure it out. And
That's
by
okay.
figuring it out, I mean, like, I can write it out. I just don't know how to stick it in a comic book.
It's okay. Yeah, that's okay. We'll figure it out. It'll be fun. I would like that. I just gotta find the reason to get me back out there then, and then I happily do it, happily in person.
Well, I mean, Calgary hasn't changed any. I mean, there's lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of jobs. Just no one's hiring. Everyone's hiring, but no one's hiring.
I know.
But lots of jobs.
Kind of.
But
Kind of.
unfortunately, it's like I feel almost like they're overwhelmed with the amount of people who are looking for work. Like, we need one person. Oh my gosh, we just got 200 resumes.
Mm-hmm.
And they only look at the first 25, if
About that.
that comes through.
About
I
that.
mean,
No.
and I'm like number 497. Oh, okay. Applicant number 345. Okay.
Well, see, here's the thing. I kind of figured something out already, and that's this, that I've already kind of figured out some of my side, what I'm going to be doing for my side ventures. And yeah, like I said, we'll see how it all magically turns out. But for me, I also know this too. I'm going to be going through a process of this is the freelance life. This is the business life. That uncomfortable until finally it gets to kind of like the steady
Mm-hmm.
plane. And once it gets to that steady plane, like the difference between me this time than
I don't
last
know.
time, what?
So I don't know if I could handle a steady plane
You
after all
could.
those ups and downs. I would be like, what is happening?
But no, but that's the nature of it. Like it goes like this, right? Like for example, I did a living wage first week as a freelancer like about a month ago, which is like wow. Then I had like 2 weeks of nothing. Then I had another week of a bunch of stuff. Then I had now I got money guaranteed for months of October, November, December, but no guarantees in the middle. So what I need is basically something to be like, okay, if I'm going to go back to Calgary, I need to pay my rent somehow. Right. And I don't actually, and here's the best part, I actually don't need a full-time job anymore. That part, that I don't need anymore.
No,
I just need
no.
something part-time that's steady
A
for a little bit.
part-time steady side hustle, because when you're in business for yourself, that's your job because that's you. So I feel like anything that we have to do that's extra outside of what we're already doing is a side hustle.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
I need to be picky.
Well, no, and I'm in that boat too, actually. See, here's the thing. See, this is what happened to me here, is that I ended up. So I went to this factory here to do some temp, just to build my income up to pay off my illustrator and stuff like that. I ended up getting fired after 3 days, and I did nothing wrong, like nothing. I showed up, I did my job, I did what was asked of me, and I get this phone call on Wednesday, like, you don't fit here, we're firing you, and I'm like, okay, like, it's like, but the thing about here's the thing about where I'm at, and this is the other reason why I want to leave. I can flip burgers, I can get any other job, and the pay scale is about the same. Right? I would be much happy. Like, I would love to use my skills a little differently. I'd work at a comic book shop. That would make me, yeah, I would be, that actually, that's probably a bad idea because I wouldn't ever have it. I'd enjoy the work. I'd enjoy the work. I just never would get paid.
Why wouldn't you get paid?
Because I'd be spending my money on comics. I never.
That's why I wanted to work at Starbucks, because I was like, I put so much money into you guys. Can you guys start paying me?
Yeah, no, that's it. And honestly, at this point in my life, like a Starbucks wouldn't be a bad deal for me. I would be very okay with it because for me, um, it's gonna be it's going to be like I'm here, I'm doing a thing for like a couple days a week, 2-3 days a week, and then the rest of my time is, I'm pitching freelance articles, or I'm working on getting sponsors for the podcast. I'm streaming. There's not much else I care about. But I would love to do is like I had a corporate job come to me for a proposal writer thing that was interesting. Although I don't think I'm going to get that job in particular. The fact that they came to me told me it's like maybe you should be looking in like sectors that are like more service orientated that will let you use your skills, and that's kind of what I'm doing. But like that's the thing, like I just need a steady enough reason and I'd be there tomorrow. Like really, that's what it really comes down to for me. So I think it'll come up. I'm not really like, it may not come out right when I'd like it to, but I do think it's going to come, and when it does, I'm out of here. So because it's just like I don't want to stay in the city anymore. I just don't. And I don't fit here. Like, I'm just being very honest. I don't. And it's not I don't say this with like hatred. I just say it's like, you know what? And if it all blows up, it all goes to complete here, March 2022. I'm walking all the way back. I just don't give it. I don't care.
Mark, you cannot stop me. I lived in the desert. Rah!
Pretty much.
If you're gonna walk, can you please wear like a reflective vest and like
I got one.
maybe if you really, really want, you know those little scooters?
Yes.
I wonder if you could just like ask like Lime Scooter for sponsorship. Be like, hey, I'm traveling back to Alberta. Can I Lime Scooter my way there? And I will vlog and I will be like, these are my life. Like the Lime Scooter or whatever scooters, no like whatever promotional assets are going on right now. But imagine if you just went on a nice road trip and you can hear it now, all the really lovely music and the scooter in looking at the overlooking, I don't know, a lake or a river at a spot, or, you know, the scooter on like a rock that it conquered because it's a really tall rock. Or like, you know, it can just be the scooter's road trip. No?
You want me to scoot across the country in like a toque with poop on it. That's what you want me to do. You're terrible. You're terrible. You're
No,
absolutely terrible.
that's funny. You'd get here so much faster than walking until your scooter died, and then you'd have to recharge it.
No, it's all good. I'd be fine. Like like I said, you gotta you have to make your decisions in your life. And for me, my decision is like I don't care about being here. And maybe I need to be here for something else, but from what I can gather and see, like
Yeah,
it's time for me to go. It's like it's just time for me to go and live the rest of my days and not be happy. Because
yeah,
really, like for everything else in this life, yeah, honestly, not much else matters.
no, not really. As long as you are loved and you have a place to sleep, oh, so many people don't, right? As long as you're loved and you have, you know, people there who are helping you at least, there's hope, at least in my head. Um, Even if it's just like something to love, like,
So I'll tell you a fun story, and then we'll wrap the interview up. We can still talk afterwards, but we'll wrap the interview up at least. Um, I didn't remember this until like my first apocalypse was in the desert, and I was so angry at the time because of everything that was happening to me. It took me until years later to realize that a lot of people in that place helped me. They didn't have to, but they did. And I remember it took me about 5 years to figure it out. But, a lot of bad things happened to me there, and in that place, I found some dark things. But I also had people. I still remember, like, this restaurant that went out of the way. They would feed me every so when I was walking between cities working, they actually got me. They fed me for free sometimes. Didn't have to, but they did. I had people that gave me meals on weekends because they saw that I was struggling and suffering, and I remember, and again, none of this that just really registers that way when you're going through it. But what you realize long enough, if you go through like really, really hard times, is that you're never really alone, no matter where you're at. Um, like I don't want to be without a place in Calgary in the wintertime because that's a terrible fate, but
too cold.
very cold, very, very cold. And it's good, like I said, but um the fact of the matter is that I know this to be absolutely true. I'm very loved by a lot of people, and I'm very fortunate. I really, really am. And no matter where I go or how far I may fall sometimes, there will always I'm in this life at least, I've been very blessed with the fact that there are always going to be people that, as long as I show an effort, are going to help me get back up on my feet.
Hmm.
And very often and not, they're going to come from unexpected places. The only difference between last time and let's say it gets really hard this time, I'm not going to be so angry. I'm going to be maybe a little annoyed. It's like, why am I going through this again?
Like, why did
But
I do this? Right,
yeah,
right.
but angry, no. And oddly grateful. And I know that sounds like a weird thing when you think about like that, but
Mm-mm.
um I've been fortunate. Like for the last year and a half, I haven't had to worry about paying rent. I've
That's
been a
pretty
lot.
sweet.
What?
I said, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it is. Right. It really, really is. Like ever since the pandemic, I haven't had to pay rent. Um, but I also realized like I need to push myself, right, and to see what I can do. And that means I'm gonna have to put more pressure on myself as time goes on. I gotta be more responsible in some ways as well. And that's the best thing about here is I don't have to worry about a roof over my head. But how far will I grow if I stay here? That's the other reason why I'm looking to leave,
Hmm.
because it's like there's there's getting started and kind of finding your footing, but there's also like how comfortable are you going to get here? There's a point where you'll get too comfortable and then you won't change and then you won't grow. And to be honest, there's just too many things I'd rather see and do. I'm just being like very honest when I said that. I just like, and if that means I'm going to be uncomfortable, if that means I'm going to start, it means I'm going to see some things a little differently. So be it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. But experiences, man, they make us, they
Hmm.
shape us, they break us, and we build
Sometimes.
ourselves up, sometimes like a Mr. Potato Head. No? Just saying.
Mr. Potato.
Just saying. There's a really big thing about like Calgary right now. We're all very a lot of people who realized that they could work from home have stayed working from home, but
Mhm,
there's a lot of people who came out with a lot of hidden talents out of COVID, and
mhm,
there's a whole lot of people who have just started their own like businesses, like companies, like products. Everyone became
mhm.
their own entrepreneurs. Like it's been pretty amazing. It's been absolutely incredible. So, I mean, I feel like once things turn around, I'm not sure what the world is like on that side of Canada, but over here it's pretty smoky mostly. Um, but there's a lot of peace, and I feel like it's different than in Ontario.
Mhm.
I feel like it's very like you guys are very cutthroat. If you don't believe something, I don't want to be your friend. Kind of style, I feel, for some people.
Yep.
So, I mean, when you come to Alberta, it's going to be, there's always people who have opinions, and that's fine. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. That's theirs.
Mhm.
Um, but I feel like Alberta is, like, we're safe right now from the fires. And then also we are, um, like, all of us are just kind of forging our own paths, like little
Mhm.
ants in this city here.
There you go.
And as much as things have changed in the world and as little as things have changed in Calgary, a lot has changed in Calgary. And I'm really thankful that everybody is like as they are. There's enough people in this city that have like had, their thoughts and opinions and their own feelings, but I feel like we all went through that. And there's the people who, got their shot, there's people who didn't, and there's people who won't. And there's a lot of people who I know, and all we're going to do is just support everybody no matter what their decision is.
That's that. Well, that's we're gonna all end up there. like honestly, that's how I see this all ending. How we get there is the question. And that's really that's like my big fear going forward is that there's going to be a fracturing before it happens, and that's my big fear. I can see a lot of things happening. That all said, I have hope too. Like I mean, I'm not like, oh, we're doomed. No, I'm more like this is going to be a rocky transition, and there's going to be a lot of things we're going to have to come face to face with, all of us, and hopefully, and at the end of the day, when we go through all this together, regardless of what that it looks like, um, I just hope sincerely with people that um, you can look at the people around you and just love them for who they are, regardless.
Absolutely.
Regardless. And that's it.
Absolutely.
And that's, well, so I miss you. I think you
I
miss me
miss you
too.
Yep.
Maybe hopefully I get to see you soon. Hopefully. Let's see how it all plays out. But you do got some stuff to plug.
I do.
So go plug. It's plug time. This is Kayseas Redsky, ladies and gentlemen. She's an entrepreneur trying to help you kind of build toward a better future. And so this is what she does. So
I am currently working as an independent financial broker with the #1 world financial education company in Canada. And what we do is we help families. We take everyone's scaries in their lives, we analyze it, and we try to make it less scary. So we help families reduce debts, save taxes, and increase their savings, and prepare for life events such as this, and everything else that is that we aren't prepared for. And so my job is to just be that person, be that beacon, and really help people and just show them that there is a better way. And that's the best explanation I can give you in this much.
So where can people find you if they want to talk to you?
If you want to find me, you can find me on Facebook at Kayseas Redsky. Or you can even Google me. I am Googleable now. I have my own website. Oh my goodness, I'd have to get that for you. But we also have Instagram now, and that one is pixiedust.with.purpose.
I'm doing a couple different things, sir.
That's okay.
So there's that. And what's the other one? Sorry.
The Googleable information.
Yeah.
Here, I'll get the website for you. Google my name here for you. So my business website is agents.wfgcanada.ca/Kayseas, KAYSEAS -Redsky.
All right. That's where I'm going to let people find you if they want to find. Did I get that right?
Let's see. Did you send it to me on Facebook?
No, I sent it to you on the chat. Do you see the chat on
Nope.
the right side? So it's agents.wfgcanada.ca/Kayseas Redsky.
Yes.
Woohoo. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Kayseas Redsky.
Thank
I love
you.
her. You haven't figured that out. And it's always a blast to have her and talk to her. So if you want to get her for financial information, go do so. And for me, my Twitch channel is twitch.tv/justjoshuapodcast. Click the follow button there. My YouTube channel is Joshua Penteloresco. Click the like and subscribe button there. Right. My book, Alice Zero, is nominated for the Elgin Award. Definitely check that book out if you haven't yet. Alice 1 comes out November 1st. To the rest, stay inspired. Keep shining in the dark. And I'll talk to you guys real soon. All right. Tomorrow I got yet another great guest. So I can't wait. All right. Take care.
Thank you.